Style radio station.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesme 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. With less than 24 hours to the Akwatia by-election, concerns over election day security are rising. This afternoon, the National Peace Council is convening an emergency meeting with leaders of NDC and NPP with the hope of establishing clear rules of conduct ahead of Tuesday's polls. We're live in that area. Also coming up, residents of Bunyiri who fled conflict area in dire need of food supplies. And much later, tidal wave wreaks havoc once again in the Ketu South area, leaving a school building damaged. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We start today's bulletin from Akwatia in the Eastern region, where the big question on everyone's mind is who will win the seat. The two leading parties, the NPP and the NDC, wrapped up their campaigns on Sunday with strong appeals to voters. This by-election, as you may know, was necessitated by the passing of NPP MP Ernest Komi. Key political figures have spent the past week striving to make an impact ahead of Tuesday's polls. Let's go live to the constituency now, where Yvonne Nekwe, our correspondent, is on the ground. Yvonne, how would you describe the mood in the constituency as the campaigning wraps up?
The mood is one of a peaceful one. The constituents are going about their daily duties. Of course, it doesn't look like really there's something coming up tomorrow. But of course, it's because of the kind of activities they engage in. Largely, they are miners and farmers. And so you would understand why we're seeing this kind of peaceful environment as of now. And so we're hoping that by tomorrow, all of them will come out indeed to vote. But beyond that, we're still seeing the police patrol team across the areas up and down by the hours and minutes to ensure that they are still visible to the people. This afternoon, we do know that the Electoral Commission is rounding up its process of packaging the ballot papers and everything that is needed for all the 119 polling stations to ensure that tomorrow they are effective in delivering the election as everybody would wish them to.
Yvonne, I want you to hold on and I'll come back to you shortly.
Breaking news on 3FM 92.7.
And the breaking news coming in is that President John Mahama has received a report of the committee, Article 146 Committee of Inquiry into petitions for the removal of the Chief Justice. That's the breaking news coming in. You remember that the President set up a committee following that petition, or the petitions, 3 petitions he received concerning the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokonu, regarding her role as the Chief Justice, and the President, in consultation with the Council of State, following that, set up that committee to probe the petitions that were that were sent to him and were presented to the Council of State as well. And the committee set up also to, as it were, look into the concerns that were raised in that 3 petitions, or those 3 petitions are presented to the committee. We do understand that the President has received the report of that committee, the Article 146 Committee of Inquiry into petitions for the removal of the Chief Justice. And as we go along in this bulletin, we'll bring you details of that. So that's the breaking news coming in. We're yet to find out what recommendations the committee made as regards the Chief Justice, whether or not, based on their work, the Chief Justice will remain in office. She'll be called back to head the judiciary, or perhaps there were recommendations for her removal following the details of the petition and, of course, the deliberation by that committee set up to probe her and the petitions that were brought before them. So we'll bring you more on that. But I want us to return to Akwatia right now, where Yvonne Nekwe, my colleague, is still on standby, bringing us update from there. Yvonne, you were telling us the atmosphere there, even with hours after the campaigning ended in Akwatia. But were there any standout moments or messages from the final rallies that might influence voters tomorrow?
Well, yesterday, the two leading parties, both the NPP and the NDC, did make their last round in a number of the communities. The NDC side, led by Johnson Beatrice and Julius Debra, made a claim that in as much as socio-economic development was a priority for people in this constituency, because they are in power, they could better provide that need for them. And so they would justify that. We would want to play their sounds to listen to exactly their thoughts on that.
Sika beba, sika na eba no, enya aban panimfo na be create sika no. Eye businessman te say Solomon, wamu be take advantage of good policies to say 24-hour economy no. Na omo aya adwuma, anya mfaso na sika ba omanum. Enti sa abrofo na beba be say adwuma no. President Mahama say, opese omanu sika no. Etra omaimu eti abasremo on try say oko say na da je wo parliament ho de ye koye mra wo ho mutia ye yie ya nyamra nim ni a onu ko no akosi samra no na omaimu mo ye de na businessman for ti say million sumadu ni business be koso ya bomba ye manu se on train na climate no ye no wako kopesika edi aba ababia babu adia ne akwati amansin so ha edru babia ye wiwe tikafo a ne ekoni ho.
And you heard the chairman of the Governing and National Democratic Congress, Johnson Adu. Yvonne, if you can tell us briefly what he was saying in Chi.
Well, briefly, he was saying that, like I said earlier on, that they believe that the current president, John Mahama, was in line of developing a number of constituencies, and Akwatia was one of them. And so if they were looking for a better option for people that could represent them in Parliament and then present their needs for, as it were, a better development of their area, then their best choice should be Lawyer Bernard Bediako, who is already a legislator. And so briefly, that was what he said in the Akan language.
And we do understand that the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, was also there and made some statements.
Well, the Chief of Staff had to be there for the president. We don't know that the president's busy schedule. He also said that the president, in his own words, said that the best gift they could give him was to ensure that we're voting for the NDC candidate that they have put up, to ensure that he will be better in the position to improve, of course, on development in the area as well.
Let me ask you two questions in one: the security situation on the ground, and whether or not, based on what you observed or what you have observed so far, there are any major issues you believe would drive the voter sentiment strongly tomorrow.
Well, the security issue is what we saw yesterday from the show stage, that is their engagement with the communities as they match their skills, their equipment, and their vans around. If what we saw yesterday is what we should go by, that it means that the police is ready by the numbers and by their equipment they have to respond to any eventuality that may happen at any of the 119 police stations we do know that for polling stations that are cluster sort of, we're going to see a huge presence of the police. There's probably more than 30 of them managing those polling stations. Those that are widespread to Washoe yesterday, that we'll see a number of them. In case of situations where the police cannot deal with their soldiers, that then at that point they would have to invite the military to support in that action. And so that is that for the police deployment. As to voter sentiment, what I have observed for the past 4 days, it looks like the constituents are ready and willing to vote. We're hoping that we will see more than just about the 30-something thousand that vote in that December election. Perhaps we should be able to see 40,000 or more out of the 52,000 in the register who come to vote tomorrow at the polling station.
Thank you very much, Yvonne Nekwe. She's our correspondent in the Eastern region. NPP flag bearer aspirant Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has also stoked controversy for linking the numerous court battles deceased Akwatia MP and Eskumi faced to his death. Listen to exactly what he said.
Na ne pressure no na e kosro court no be di asem no wiye be June 11th ho na court no say ampa onene the rightfully elected member of parliament for Akwatia sas asem no wiye 26 days per and who free mo 26 days yenti Odriana odi ni lawyer odi ni medina court no sa lawyer no say na also obegina ama NDC for me say wenchi for Akwatia for mama fasa akonia no emma sa lawyer no yamfama Solomon.
And you had Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is NPP flag bearer aspirant, and in Chi, he was saying that Eskumi died 26 days after the court proceedings, and believing that the pressures he went through contributed to his early demise. We'll be speaking to the Peace Council very shortly on that upcoming meeting in that constituency, but the NDC has been reacting to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Let's listen to Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, who spoke earlier to my colleague Mauna Egbeta.
You see, such reckless statement should not be coming for a statesman. Very reckless statement. A statesman of that stature should not be making such utterances. Have they forgotten so soon? In 2012, we won election, very clear mandate. They dragged our then president to court for 8 months. Wasted our time in court for 8 months. Was their intention to kill the president? The pressure they gave the then NDC administration, was it meant to give us torture? Is that what he's telling us? Asinov, what sent us to Asinov? Flimsy issues, they sent us to court just to make sure that they get him out from parliament. The man went through trauma. He was in the forefront. He even came there severally, asking that they shouldn't vote for Jessica Christine again in the Asinov by-election. We beat them to it. What are they talking about? Is it the first time election petition has gone to court? We have gone to court severally. Indeed, MPs have been removed from parliament. They've been in parliament for 2 years and they were removed. The likes of a Williamson by-election that we held. Nyimakan was in parliament. They went because they were talking of residence issue, hunted him and got him out from parliament. We went and lost the seat. They didn't stop there. Several MPs lost their seat in parliament. We went. Several died. This is not the first time. It's so reckless and must be condemned by all right-thinking people in Ghana. Such statements should not be coming from them. We think that such statements are meant for foot soldiers, but not statesmen like the Honorable His Excellency Dr. Bawumia. He has occupied the highest position, second highest, that is Vice President, and shouldn't be making such statement. It's unfortunate, and we think he should withdraw and apologize to the good people of Akwatia and the NDC. What is he talking about? Is he saying that we should step the constitution? If I felt cheated in an election, I shouldn't go to court. If I go to court, it means that I'm trying to...
And you heard Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer. He's Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the National Democratic Congress. We still stay on the Akwatia by-election, and with less than 24 hours to go before that election, concerns over election day security are rising. The National Peace Council has called for an emergency meeting with the leadership of the NDC, NPP and other stakeholders this afternoon in Akwatia, aiming to establish clear rules of conduct ahead of Tuesday's polls. Both parties have exchanged accusations in recent days, with a minority alleging intimidation of residents and lapses in security arrangements. The council's intervention follows previous meetings with the two leading parties on July 29 as part of ongoing efforts to prevent disputes and ensure a peaceful voting process. Tensions have heightened as MPP Solomon Asumedu and NDC's Bernard Bediako-Baidu ran in Tuesday's tight race for the vacant Akwatia seat. Frank Wilson Boja is the current Deputy Director of Conflict Management and Resolution at the National Peace Council. He joins us live on the phone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Let's first find out what's informing your request for an urgent meeting barely 24 hours to the polls.
The truth is that the Peace Council has started engagement with the political parties about 1 month ago. And in fact, we were even supposed to have a follow-up engagement on the day, the 6th of August, on the day that the unfortunate incident happened. And it had been our mandate to ensure that we have peace during every election. So this is not the first effort. We have made several efforts. The concerns of some of the concerns raised by the political parties in our previous encounters have been communicated also to the appropriate quarters, the police, and then the Electoral Commission, and those who matter in our election. However, there are still some issues that we believe the parties may have last minute getting into the election tomorrow. So we want to sit down and iron out all those all those issues, and then tomorrow we'll know that they are catered for, and then we can have a peaceful election. However, as I'm speaking to you this morning, we have contacted direct contact with the MPP office, the NDC office here in Akwatia, and there are some of their national executives who are promised to meet us at 2 p.m. So any issues that they have, I think it will help us to address them before tomorrow.
And speaking of issues that you intend to address, we have seen heavy security deployment in Akwatia. The police say it is part of the broader security arrangement to ensure incident-free elections. But the opposition NPP says that it's a voter intimidation tactic. This is an issue that has already come up. How do you intend to work with all sides to reassure and build confidence in the process?
The police does with the hardcore security matters. We use the soft approaches in addressing these issues. So we try as much as possible to provide this platform for dialogue that we believe will end up in a win-win situation. Using the soft approaches most often work, whilst people are able to air out their grievances, and then the grievances are addressed. At the end of the day, we should see any of the parties contested this election, the Liberal Party of Ghana, the National Democratic Congress, the New Patriotic Party, who are contesting this election, coming to a consensus with probably the security heads who will be present at the meeting to iron out any differences that may come up. So for us, we dialogue, and we believe that oftentimes those dialogues work. If you cast your mind back to even the presidential elections. At a point in time, NDC said they will not come to the Peace Park signing. They came. And at the end of the day, when our former vice president saw that there was no way he was going to win the election, he came out boldly, even before the Electoral Commission declared the result, that truly he has considered the defeat because, again, he has also signed the Peace Pact at the National Peace Council program. And for that matter, I want peace. This is what we want to replicate here today, this afternoon, to be able to address all the challenges that the parties may have at the moment before tomorrow.
So, Mr. Gwenja, what I hear you say is that this issue of the opposition raising concerns over the security deployment is something that will be discussed at this meeting this afternoon as well.
Definitely. Any other grievances that are there, whether from Liberal Party Ghana, whether from MPP, NDC, we are going to give them the platform so that we sit down as long as we are able to sit. We discuss such issues, and then we come out with a concrete solution to it.
Let me ask you my last question, sir. How will the council monitor compliance with the agreed rules on election day?
How
are you going to ensure compliance so that the effort you're putting in from this afternoon will yield some results tomorrow?
Yes, definitely. We have people on the ground. We have a team here staying throughout until maybe Wednesday. Wednesday before we leave here, to ensure that anybody who has any grievance. Sometimes, in fact, when we even went to Asinof, let me use Asinof as an example. Any issue that the party may have, even during the election day, they run to us. We get it. We run to the appropriate institution, police or electoral commission. We discuss with them, and then the measures are put in place for rectifying such issues. So it's going to be like that. We're going to have our ears on the ground. We are moving around. Since I came, I haven't even sat down. We are all moving around, trying to gather what are the critical issues. The ones that we have identified, we'll put before all of them and then have a solution to that.
Thank you so much. And you have the Frank Wilson Buja. He is the current Deputy Director of Conflict Management and Resolution at the National Peace Council. Some 22 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll tell you more about what's happening in Binyere in the northern parts of the country. Don't go away.
Ghana, it's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
And you're still here on the Middays on Shri FM 92.7, some 24 minutes past the hour of 12. If you're just joining us, we brought you some breaking news about the President, John Mahama. Just reminding you of it, receiving the report of the committee, the Article 146 Committee of Inquiry into petitions for the removal of the Chief Justice. And we're yet to get details as regards to whether or not the committee recommended that the Chief Justice be removed or she's allowed to stay in office. And like I did tell you, that is based on Article 146, clauses 5 to 11, spelling out the procedures that one or the presidency must follow in terms of petitions against the removal of the Chief Justice. We go to the northern part of the country now, and a quest for survival is creeping among displaced families in the communal conflict at Benyere as food, water and shelter has become increasingly difficult. My colleague Christopher Mwakun caught up with the family struggling for survival and came through with this report.
Linda, a 5-month-old pregnant woman and mother of 2, is a resident of Benyere who fled her home to seek shelter and safety at the Sola police station. She's been at the camp for the past 7 days. Due to the insufficient food supply to the camp, which can lead to hunger and malnutrition of the children, Linda and her family have decided to cook extra food at the camp with the support of some benevolent people in the Sola community. They got raw materials like yam and flour to do their cooking. For Linda, life has been tough at the camp. On Sunday, August 24, a communal conflict between 2 feuding factions over a parcel of land resulted in an initial killing of 5, with several others injured. Over 48,000 victims of the conflict have been displaced from their homes, with the death toll now hitting 18, according to the National Disaster Management Organization.
It's not good, but we have a lot of unconfirmed death situation, but officially I can confirm that. In total for now, officially, we are talking about 17, 18.
Both the Sola and Bole district assemblies are worried over the financial burden of the conflict on the assembly resources.
My brother, for now, let's say that the limited resources is dissipated. We cannot rely so much on the assembly again, because the little that we have earmarked for projects have to go into this. We are talking of hundreds of security men that should run on the resources that we have. And as at now, I'm telling you that we don't know if support don't come from us, how we are going to sustain this pressure.
A looming food, health and sanitation crisis seems imminent. Children who have fled with their mothers face the risk of losing access to education, which could lead to a generation at risk of poverty and instability. On Sunday, August 31, President Mahama sent a high-powered government delegation led by the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, to meet the Yegbonwura and other key stakeholders over the Benyere conflict. The delegation assured the people of government's commitment to peace.
I can assure you that we are not leaving any stone unturned. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is very concerned, and he's showing leadership and is pushing to make sure that we resolve all these things as soon as possible, so that peace will be returned to this place.
This is the Vonkoro community in the Republic of La Côte d'Ivoire. Here, hundreds of displaced victims of the Benyere conflict have fled into this area. According to local authorities here, they are overwhelmed about the numbers of people who have migrated into this area as a result of the conflict.
Christopher Mwakun filed that report, and that's it for the news here on 3FM 92.7. Thank you very much for joining us on the Midday News. My name is Beatrice Adu. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Good afternoon.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Ghana faces youth wave with 10 million entering job market in 15 years. And Ghana's mobile money transactions reached 735 million cedis in June 2025, but with varied adoption. Plus, Ghana's IMF debt reaches 2.7 billion, special drawing rights securing sport in Africa's top 5. I am Michael Obudu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. Ghana is facing a youth wave. In the next 15 years, nearly 10 million young people will enter the job market. The Finance Ministry says this could either fuel growth or deepen crisis. 3 Business has been speaking to experts and citizens on how the country should prepare.
According to United Nations projections, Ghana's population will hit 45 million by 2040, with almost 6 in 10 under the age of 30. This means more pressure on schools, hospitals, and above all, jobs. The Finance Ministry has warned that without reforms, the risks are severe, proposing a new fiscal council to enforce discipline and accountability in public spending. But for the private sector, the real test is jobs.
If you don't create the jobs for these many young people that are unemployed, you are actually building an army of very agitated young people. And the only way to have sustainable jobs is when we provide industry the incentive to create the jobs.
Just a day after the Finance Ministry's caution, the Ghana Statistical Service added weight to the warning. Its latest survey shows that although employment is rising, too many jobs remain informal and insecure, with youth unemployment still dangerously high.
Again, long-term unemployment is becoming entrenched, trapping thousands in prolonged joblessness. We are proposing that there's a scale-up of apprenticeships, graduate employment schemes, and also job placement services. We recommend also that government should provide affordable credit to small businesses to boost job creation.
And beyond the data, ordinary Ghanaians are looking for urgent solutions.
I think governments have to do more of these TVET institutions, and then they should relate it to things that we do here in Ghana. Things that the resources that we have, the natural resources that we have, how to discover the natural resources that we have and how to use it for our own development.
We all have been deceived by white-collar job and education, letting go of skilled job, business entrepreneurship. We should focus more on vocational school, looking at our local businessmen. Government should invest in them for their business to grow. They can employ more of the graduates coming up.
For the millions of young people preparing to enter the world of work, the future hangs in the balance. Whether it becomes a story of hope or hardship will depend on decisions taken now.
That was a report by my colleague Beatrice Adu. Now, Ghana has ranked amongst the top 5 African countries in the highest debt to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, holding its position in August 2025 with an outstanding credit of $2.7 billion special drawing rights. There is more in the following report.
Ghana has been ranked 5th in Africa for its outstanding debt to the International Monetary Fund as of August 2025. According to the latest figures from the IMF, the country owes approximately $2.70 billion in special drawing rights, the same level recorded in July. Topping the list is Egypt, with the highest debt on the continent at SDR $7.18 billion, although slightly down from the previous month. Cote d'Ivoire followed in second with SDR $3.10 billion, while Kenya was ranked third with SDR $3.02 billion. The rest of the top 10 includes DR Congo, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Cameroon, and Zambia. While IMF support can provide critical relief for struggling economies, experts warn that heavy and prolonged borrowing can undermine long-term economic independence and policy flexibility. Analysts say that for many African nations, their concern is not just the financial burden, but the restrictive conditions that often accompany IMF loans. They caution that avoiding long-term debt traps is key to ensuring sustainable growth and maintaining economic sovereignty.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, away from that, in today's tech-driven world, mobile money is transforming how we pay quickly, conveniently, and right from our phones. But as 3 Businesses Kofi Noel hits the streets to investigate, the big question remains, are Ghana's small businesses fully on board or still weighing their options?
According to data from the Bank of Ghana, total volumes of mobile money transactions for June 2025 were 735 million, resulting in 323.16 million cedis in value. However, from the roadside vendors around the Medina market to phone shop owners, mobile money is within reach, but not always within use. While some businesses welcome it with open arms, others remain hesitant.
How has it impacted the business?
I can't tell. It doesn't impact in any way. It's the same as the physical cash, or yes, it's the same thing.
What of any challenges that you face so far using mobile money?
We've not been facing any challenges.
What I've realized is that a lot of the youth and the elderly choose to use mobile money due to conveniency, and a lot of people actually don't like using the physical cash because of theft and all this stuff.
At first, we used to take Momo, but due to some scammers, we do not accept it again. We only direct you to a Momo vendor to withdraw the money in physical cash before we sell to you.
Interestingly, the informal transport sector is catching on. Some choo-choo drivers and their mates now accept mobile money, even though it comes with its own set of challenges.
If so, do homa, obey mumu, no, acquire azan, do homa, a bounty, a train, Emma, Udiscana, then.
Because of some scammers, we make sure we see the notification of the transaction before allowing you to board the car.
Physically, at times, no, Obiban also on your day, on Cresca.
Due to some people not having the fiscal cash for their transport fares, we sometimes accept mobile money.
Abba, and Sana, one man, Adrian can.
Financial economist Dr. Beatrice Adu, however, is calling for incentives to motivate a complete cashless economy.
If government wants to encourage it more, what can be done is that government should introduce additional incentive. The additional incentive could be the more you use mobile money, especially for the informal sector, the more your cash flows can be monitored. And when you go to bank for maybe bank loan, it will minimize your rate.
That was financial economics Dr. Beatrice Adu ending that report. Now, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition is focused on reducing the cost of electricity from new solar power plants to make it more affordable and sustainable for consumers. The move is part of government's broader strategy to increase the use of renewable energy and reduce the country's reliance on fossil fuels. The ministry urged Bui Power Authority to continue to champion renewable energy adoption in the country.
on behalf of the sector minister at the annual general meeting of We Power Authority, Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition Richard Jan Mensah said negotiations with developers and stakeholders will ensure that the tariffs on future solar projects are competitive.
The Ministry of Energy is conscious that some of the tariffs from the new solar plants are not sustainable and requires careful review to ensure affordability for consumers while guaranteeing investor confidence. The minister